Hi everyone, so today we're looking at dried flowers on cards. Now these flowers I did in an old book that I'm not using any longer, and some of them dried nicely, some of them were not dried because they were chunkier flowers. So you need to be careful what you use. So these were the samples I showed you at the end of the last video to just tempt you with where we were going this week. So this one here, I've put a pretty background paper on, and I've pulled up some of the colours from that background paper, and the flowers are standing out against a white die cut background. You can use plain, doesn't matter. This one again, all this one is a little wax flower and one dried leaf. So you can see that you can make a lovely card out of minimalistic pieces. So this one here is another one that I've done, and this is the one we're actually going to do in the tutorial. So let's put those just up to the top and leave that on there if I can. So I have a 15 centimetre or 6-inch square card, and I've cut myself a piece of embossed card. Now it doesn't have to be any particular measurement. Okay, so all this, I'm not giving measurements today because you can make it from what you've got at home. So I'm going to take my piece of paper that's embossed, and I'm going to place on here some double-sided tape on the back. So we're going to stick that down, and I'm going to leave a fair amount all the way round. I'm only going to do a straight border because I've got scallops around the main card. Now, let's have a look at this ruler, because this was just a strip of plastic that I got from a doll's house kit place, and I just put it on the edge of my ruler and stuck it down, because I can pull that back now against my background and I get the same border all the way round. Just finish that one. Yeah, so look at that for a perfect border all the way round. Okay, I'm going to take that now, and we're going to stick it onto our base card. I know these flowers take a little while to dry, but if you think about it as free embellishments for your card, then it's worth having a go and just putting the book aside and just let them dry and don't worry about them and go back to them at a later date. So now I'm going to add my border of ribbon, which has fallen off here. Now I put double-sided across the ribbon, and if there's any hanging over, I can just put it so that it's round the back. Now I'm going to go about there. That one off there. And because I haven't stuck the whole piece down, I've only done 3 strips across, I can just gently lift that now and pop my ribbon behind. There we go. So that one side, and now we've got our background done. This one has got fancy edged scissors. This one's got straight edge. So whatever you have and prefer is good. Now we come to sticking on our embellishments, our little flowers. Now what I've got here is some cocktail sticks and a piece of spare card. So I'm going to place either PVA, which dries clear, or this is a clear glue. Yeah, it's a very sticky glue. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I've got some of these, it's called rice grass, and that is going to go on my card. So I don't want it too long, so I'm going to have that piece there, and I'm going to take this bit, so I've got 2 shorter bits. Now when we come, here it disappeared. When we come to stick it on, there's no way that you're going to get all the glue on everything. So you can use spray glue if you wish, but I find that that is very difficult to manage the glue. So I'm just touching along the delicate grasses, and then I'm going to turn it over and place it on my card and just gently tap it down. So not all of it will be stuck down. Okay, now I'm going to take PVA next, and I'm going to put the PVA next to it so you can see that you can use anything. Okay, then I'm going to take, I think I've got here another grass, so I'm going to take that one. This is just a normal grass that from the hedgerow, and I'm going to place that onto there. If you haven't got things like rice grass or anything delicate, consider using some of the little heads here and plant them. Right. These, don't know which plant this was. Try and touch as many of the heads as possible, and if a little bit comes off, save it. Because we can just go back in, add a bit of glue, and stick it back onto its stem. A bit more glue. You can decide whether you want to put the glue on the actual flower, where there's only just a little bit to do. On something like this, you need to put it onto here. There we go. So now I've got my base built up. And if you want to, then you can start putting the glue onto the card. There's a pretty little one. Got a white one, so we'll use some of the ear glue for this one, and I'm putting that up near the top. So I'm starting to work my pretty flowers up. Now, because I've used green around the outside, I can put any colour of flowers around, because I haven't tied myself to a particular colour. Right, there we've got that one. Now, one of the plants that I did enjoy doing was the forget-me-not. They're really delicate, and they're a beautiful fill-in flower. So I'm going to put 3 of those in. Tweezers are exceptionally good for this. I'm going to go up here. There. So I've got now a flow of 3 forget-me-nots, and one of the flowers I wasn't sure was going to work was some little scarlet pimpernels that I saw growing in a neighbour's driveway in the gravel. So some of the colour has faded, but they still look very pretty. There, and I've got one small one here. So you can go on building as much as you like. So there is our card, simple grasses on the background, and 7 little flowers. So you don't need an awful lot. So here's the other one, and all I need to do now, when I know who the card is for, is to add a little greeting. It can go up here, it can go down the bottom, it can go actually onto the ribbon. Okay, so let's leave that there because we're going to look at a different way. Some of the flowers will be extremely delicate, and you have to be very careful how you handle the flowers. So this is another way to get around that. Now I've got some purple, pink, white flowers. So I'm going to take this, and I want a border all the way round. So I've cut myself a frame. I frequently cut these by hand, but let's take this, and then I'm going to stick my frame onto my background colour. I'm going to put a little bit down the edges. So remove the double-sided tape, and we're going to stick this straight onto our background colour. There. Right, So I'm going to bring in my ruler, and exactly the same as before, I'm putting a small edge around the frame. Go around because some of it hasn't cut. I'm going to change my knife, hopefully for a sharper one. Right, so we've got now a small border all the way round. Now, if I take this now, I can put this against this edge, and I can do most of the edge. I don't go right to the corners. So I'm going to do that by hand. So I'm going as long as I can. Just line that up. And then I can go back, see what I need to cut at the corners. There, and out drops the centre. Now I've got a beautiful double frame, and we're then going to take the acetate, which I have put down, and it's disappeared on the table. Here we go. So here's my acetate, turn it over, and a good way of putting acetate on is to only remove one piece of your double-sided tape. So I'm going to remove one piece and just turn it back on itself. I can then position my acetate, make sure it's correct, hold it in place with the bit of tape that I've exposed, and then I can simply go round, and there's no danger then of it sticking out the sides, going down wrong. There. So now we have a beautiful finish, and we've got our piece here that is going to go onto there. Right. So now I know the area that I want to do my flowers. Place that there. And we're going back. I'm going to place more glue on here because this will have started to dry already. The clear glue dries very quickly. Okay, so now we're going to start with our background grass again. This is such a good fill-in. Well, now, because I don't need to glue everything, I'm just going for a little bit of glue in the corner. Okay. The reason being that the acetate is going to protect all of the rest of it and stop it moving. So there we are. Now I've got another one of these pretty little sprays. So I can go into there and just touch the edges there, and I'm going up to there. Not all the stems have to go to here because we're going to put more flowers to cover that. Now I have a little white one. This is shepherd's purse. So I'm going to touch the bottom, touch the top, and I think I'm coming in about there. Okay. Right. Now I've got a main flower that I'm going to use, which is my pink one. So for this, I'm going to just get the glue and put that on the back. So I want this one positioned really well. So you see I've gone over the stem here, so nobody knows that that was finished early. So I've got another spray of these pretty pink ones, and I think we're going to go on this side with that. So let's go out with that one. This is all helping to hold down this grass. And if you've got a bit that's just loose, just anchor it down a bit. Right. Let's have a look now. I've got this white one, which is really delicate. So I'm going to put this one and I'm going to anchor that on the top there. Right, I've got one more of those delicate sprays. So I'm going up here. Some of this will be partly covered by the frame, but that's all right. It will look quite natural. Right, and these little purple ones, just going to add probably 3. Let's go for a little more glue. Touch the back. And one more. I think we're going to go just behind there. The petals are brittle, so do be careful, and you can always fit them in. Right, so there I've got that. Let's have a look. I've got this beautiful spray here. Nope, I think I'm going to leave it. So have I got anything else? I've got some little white flowers. Now the white flowers frequently have a little brown stain with them, but it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to do 3 of those. There. So now I've got my piece here, which I'm happy with. So I'm going to go back to my frame and I'm going to put double-sided tape all the way around the frame. Three, That's my 4 sides done. Now I'm going to take this and I'm just going to fold back the 2 bits at this corner at right angles. And then I'm going to turn to this corner and fold these out. I want them on the outside of my frame so that I can still hold them. And I can then take this and I need to position it over my display. So I press down on the 2 corners that I've exposed the glue, hold it in place and simply pull these bits out. So nothing is going to move. And there I have a beautiful, take that out, a beautiful display. Nothing as it goes through the post is going to touch those bits. It's held down nice and tight against the background, and it's made a beautiful card. Now this technique of the double mount you can use for so many different cards, but it does really accentuate all the lovely flowers on there. So I have, this was from just one brief pressing of a few flowers that I collected on one day. Okay, so all of these have come from that one pressing, and each time I go out for a walk, then I take a little bag and pop in a few grasses or wildflowers. Never take too many because they need to seed and be ready for you next time. Okay, so be careful as to how many you take and enjoy your walk as well as your crafting. God bless you all. Right, I will bring in one extra thing just to give you a heads up on what's coming next time. We're going to look at cards that you use bookmarks as part of the design. So I'll introduce you to a lovely lady who produces these graphics that I've coloured in, and they are magic because they are bookmarks that you can place around your pages. I've put magnets in there so they arrive on your card, and you can put the head and the tail in a book, which looks really attractive. But this, when you open it, you've got the 2 back pieces in your card. So we'll be looking at that on the next tutorial. Let's put him back together again. Okay. But you'll have a link to this, and we'll be doing all sorts with bookmarks. Okay, so enjoy, God bless, and we'll be back soon with this card.